I am calling the meeting to order today, which is the 29th of October at 4 o'clock. That's it. And the flag salute. The flag salute is, I'm looking at the agenda here, but my eyes are not
Mr.
working
Lynch.
very well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Lynch.
Okay. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the
of
United States of America,
States of America, and
to the
to the
republic
republic
To the
for which it
republic,
stands
which it
one
stands,
nation,
one
under God,
nation, under
indivisible,
God,
with
indivisible,
liberty and justice
with
for all.
liberty,
uh,
just.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, both adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building and on the Borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen.
Here.
Mrs. Bowmiller.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Maskell.
here,
Mayor Davis.
Here,
Okay, I have one ordinance today that we're going to discuss, ordinance 2020-25C, an ordinance amending an ordinance entitled Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, as the same in Chapter 55 pertains to use of beaches. And the purpose of the ordinance is to increase the fees for beach badges, to establish a fee for a lifetime senior badge, and to waive fees charged for beach buggy permits for veterans. Nancy, would you like to start the discussion?
okay. Yeah, we've had some email discussions about the price of the badges. Basically, we along with Barnegat Light have the lowest rate of the badges, of the seasonal badges on the island. We in general have about the lowest rate, and we have talked about this before. I'm ambivalent. I know right now Sherry really wants to get the preseason and the season badge price established so she can get this out. She wants to get this passed so she can start selling her Christmas badges. So we can discuss in the future, if we can just get that bit sorted, we can discuss it in more detail later, what we want to do about daily badges. It's my understanding that Dan suggested that we raise the daily badge to $10. And we would bring in quite a lot of money, like $89,000, which would, if we did that, which would pay for the beach equipment that Chris wants to buy to maintain the beach. It wouldn't, that's $190, but it would pay for about half of it. So that's a thought that we can delve into. I did contact the township, and they are charging $10. They have been doing COVID for the daily badge, but they might take it back if this COVID thing ends, which I think it's going to get worse actually. But if it does end by next summer, they might move it back to their $5 fee, which they charged in the past. I believe it was $5. Some people charge anywhere between $5 and $10. Ship Bottom, I believe, has charged $10 for the daily badge all the time. The township this year has charged 10, but it was 5 in the past. Again, I think, to me, I think that would be a great suggestion. If people decided not to come to Beach Haven because the daily badge was too high, it would just make our beaches a little more pleasant for the rest of us that are here all the time. I know that's not making us money, but the downside of it, it might make us money, but the downside of it might be that we just have less people on the beach and less day trippers on the beach. So that might be a good solution. As far as, I think what right now we have to sort of focus our discussion on the preseason and the seasonal badge. The preseason badge was $30 last year, and the seasonal badge $40. Sherry suggested raising it to $35 and $45, which would give us about another $60,000 in our budget if we did that. and if the beach badge sales remained as robust as they did this year. And I know Jamie doesn't really feel comfortable raising the price of the badges. And I'm ambivalent. I don't, I can go either way on this. I think it would be nice to be able to take that money and earmark it for this piece of equipment that Chris wants. And we also do have the lowest levels on the island. So let's discuss. I mean, what are your thoughts? Other
Well,
council member.
So I was just looking at coming from basically the last 3 meetings that we've been discussing the budget and the audit and everything like that. And we've, been discussing how, financially we're secure. We look great with the state. And then now we're going to charge another fee. So that just doesn't sit right with me. And also we made an additional $60,000 this year, which I think I agree with you, Nancy. I think that next year it's going to be the same. I still think that people are going to be reluctant to travel abroad. So I think we're going to be still increasing that revenue. So when we're increasing that revenue, I don't necessarily think that there should be an increased seasonal beach badge on the residents, because most of the residents buy seasonal passes, and that just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't seem fair to me. As we are increasing the revenue, why are we charging a higher fee? As far as the daily passes, I think that is a good idea. I think that the daily charges are for people that are using Center and 2nd Street and using the bathroom. So that would cost an additional cost for daily day trippers, because they are probably most likely going to the beaches that have facilities for them. So I agree with that, but I disagree with the increasing the seasonal beach badges. Township has, 35, 45, but they also have a lot more area to cover. So we shouldn't really be matching our badges prices with Township. We're 2.5 square miles versus how large they are. That's how I feel.
Can I just,
Well, that's true, but remember, we have a much denser population.
Agreed.
Chuck, is that you?
yeah, I just want to know, what is the holiday badge going to cost? Do we know?
A holiday badge is sold pre-season, so it sells at a pre-season price.
Okay, thank you. It was very nice.
I don't know if any of you, I'm having trouble. You're all frozen on my screen. I don't know if I'm the only one. Maybe I should try to move to a different location. Anybody
It
tell
might-
me if you're having trouble?
I'm not, might be your internet connection, maybe turn on a hotspot.
I mean, I know this usually works pretty well here, but I might try a different spot and just see if it works better.
So
I've
here's the
lost
thought.
you. I've lost you completely. Oh,
How
Have
about
you?
you, Dan?
What's that?
How about you?
Oh, here's a thought. What if we leave the preseason sales alone? Because if you live here, you should definitely get your badge before they go up on in season, and then go up to $5 on the regular sales. And then I think the daily is a good idea. I mean, I think we missed an opportunity this year. If the beaches on either side of us were $10 a day, we were only $5. I think we should maybe try to mirror what's going on around us. If, is there a way to build language that is $10 a day unless COVID, then we can scale back to $7 or something in that range? You know what I mean? I know the beach pass supervisor doesn't want to deal in singles, but long time ago, I used to help supervise that myself, the beach pad sales. And it was just extra time counting, it's not real hard to, rocket science. It's just, it puts more time into the job. So, I mean, it's just a thought, leave the preseason alone, raise the in season, and then raise dailies either to 10 or 7.
You should be aware, though, that out of the 11,969 seasonal badges we sold, only 1,000 of them were in season. Your
Okay.
yeah, your majority is a preseason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, most people are smart enough. If they're buying 6 beach badges, that's, a nice little $30 savings. So.
Jamie, if you're in favor of
we do
raising
not-
it,
Why don't
Jamie,
you,
if you're in favor of raising, raising the daily, how much would you be willing to raise the daily, Jamie?
Well, I originally suggested 7, but if dealing with singles, which I don't know, because when I was, that age, I was working and had to deal with making change. I didn't really think that that's a difficult thing for kids to do, but I initially said 7, but if you wanted to match the
Just
township,
lost you again.
if you wanted to match the township at 10, that would be fine with me also. I think, again, the day trippers are using areas that have facilities that need to be cleaned,
That's
and
perfect.
so that would be fine. I mean, another suggestion too would be to move the the seasonal price. I mean, it is pretty late when we switch over. If we did that, June 1st instead of June 15th, and then that would, offset, because, most people that live here, I know that I get my beach badges before Memorial Day, and usually I get the holiday badge anyway. So that might, increase the revenue if we're looking at residents and buying passes. Just moving the date up.
2 weeks, okay?
Excuse me, yeah. Because we do have guarded beaches before that rate takes effect, correct now?
Yeah,
No, the preseason ends June 15th, and
I'm
our
sorry.
beach badge staff doesn't start full-time until the last Saturday of June.
Okay.
So Dan, you'd prefer to not increase the seasonal or preseason, but to more focus on a daily?
Yeah, well, I think it's
Could we,
more bang for your buck if you know.
Go ahead, Nance.
I have such a bad connection. It's really frustrating. I moved around and it's everywhere. I think it must be the weather.
Can you turn on the hotspot on your
I
phone?
think if we could just come to a decision on the preseason and the season badges today, we can carry on this discussion with the rest of the badges in the next week or so, and basically have a little bit more knowledge about what the other towns are actually going to do. I think that the COVID thing is going to continue. The airlines are literally have put out announcements that they don't expect air travel to be back to normal until 2024, which is quite a while. This is not going away that fast. So I'm perfectly happy with keeping the preseason and the season the same. I do tend to agree with Jamie. I do think that it's frustrating to me that the people that pay taxes here have to pay for the beach as well. But I do think beach badges make sense, because probably more people that don't pay taxes here use our beaches than the people that pay taxes. And they should be helping to maintain the beaches, not just those of us that pay taxes. So I would be happy with keeping the preseason and the season 30 and 40, and then hopefully making the daily badges up, bring them up to $10. Ship Bottom does it, and they don't have any problems. And I bet if we did it, the township would probably decide to keep it there. That would be my guess. And as I say, if they did drop it to 5, maybe that's less day trippers for us and nicer beaches for the residents. So can we have a motion to approve this ordinance, but just the preseason and the season at this point?
I mean,
Or does anybody want to discuss this anymore? And make the preseason 30 and 4 and the season and the full price for 40 for the season.
so yeah, if you want to introduce this ordinance today, it would establish a $10 fee for a lifetime senior badge. The preseason would stay at 30, the seasonal would be 40, your collector's badge is still 50, weekly would be 20, and then we can take the daily to 10, and then the gift box is still $2, and then it waives fees for beach buggies for veterans. That's what you would be introducing today if you verbally agree to that. If not, we can just say.
What, does anybody have any thoughts on that? I mean, I know Sherry would like to get this done so she can start to get ready to sell the Christmas badges.
I mean, if we've made a decision that we're not
Any
gonna
other
touch
thoughts?
the preseason or the seasonal, then I'm fine if you want to wait to make any changes to everything else. But you seem to have decided already.
Hey, well, I will make a motion to 2025C to make the beach badge preseason and season $30 and $40. I have a question though before I end my motion. How does the $10 lifetime senior work? Wasn't there like was it?
Anybody that's a senior can buy a lifetime badge. Sherry explained to me, I talked to her about this. The township charges $10 for a senior badge, but you have to buy the badge every year. We give a lifetime badge. Once you have that senior badge, as long as you don't lose it. I mean, I have some that my mother had. So, I mean, they're cracked and falling apart. So if you don't lose it, you have it for life. Otherwise you have to go buy another one for $10.
No,
Oh, okay,
But,
so that was what I was trying to understand. So if you misplace or lose your senior badge, you still have to come back and pay $10. I didn't think it was $10 a year, but it's not if you don't lose it. So,
Right.
did I mess everybody up enough with my motion? 30
no,
and 40.
you would be
for-
approving everything else like the other sections as well, such as the veterans getting a free beach buggy pass and that sort of thing.
right.
The
but
township does that.
just to be clear on the senior badge, we used to give one free of charge and just have the $10 replacement fee.
Yes,
This
yes.
is now, this is now charging seniors a $10 fee forever. So we're not giving a free badge. We're charging $10 for that. So there is a slight change in that.
Yes,
Yes, but as long as you're okay with that.
I am. Thank you for that clarification.
So I have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
Second,
Okay,
Thank you.
is there a second to the motion?
second.
Yes, Jamie seconded. Thank you. Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Maskell,
Yes,
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 209 is readopting the floodplain management plan and amendments as per annual review for the Borough of Beach Haven. Resolution 210 is approving Beach Haven's emergency operations plan, flood emergency annex for a period of 4 years. Resolution 212 is canceling water charges, and Resolution 213 is authorizing a refund of a tax court appeal, and 214 is approving an amended spending plan based on the 10/27/2020 amendment and requesting a judge's review of same. I do have the emergency management personnel on the phone, and I also have Emily Gibbons on the phone if any member of council would like to discuss any of these items first.
Yeah, does anybody want to remove anything from the agenda to discuss?
not I.
Okay. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the consent resolutions, the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
For a second?
A second.
Second. Oops, sorry, Dan.
Thanks,
Sir.
Dan. Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Baumiller,
Yes.
Mr. Maskell,
Yes,
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes, and I'd like to thank Bev and Bill for their hard work. That, a lot of work goes into those emergency management plans.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a bill list today in the amount of $228,491.90.
Anybody have any questions?
But I've had a
Okay.
chance to review the bills as presented and would like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Val Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes,
Davis? Nancy, you okay with that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The sound is terrible.
Okay, so now we can move to the first item of general
Okay,
discussion.
so we're on to general discussion.
We're like birds. Yeah, the downtown preservation. Nancy, do
The
you want to
down-
talk about that?
Do you want me to start with that?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
The downtown preservation is can you hear me okay? Or
Yes.
It's so blocked up, it's weird. This is an idea that I've been trying to do something with this for 10 years. And Beach Haven has a very robust Main Street. And Jamie and I have talked about it. And what makes Beach Haven special is that we do have businesses. We have a walking area of Main Street where you can shop and you can browse and you can window shop and you can eat and it really is nice. What we're starting to see is, because the real estate values are so high, people buying businesses, ripping the business down and basically putting up a individual home. And we see that in the township. They have really no business district in Long Beach Township. We do, and I would hate to see us lose ours. And I just thought in the past, we've tried to do this. I don't know, it's because I had a lot of realtors. There were realtors on the council, but nobody really wanted to do that. My idea would be to allow people to put a living space over there, which we do allow now, over the retail space, but keep some retail at the bottom. And also demarcate a special area. We already have the overlay zone for COA, which goes from Pearl Street to 12th. I mean, we could actually use that overlay zone and try to keep that as retail. Already, we've noticed 2 blocks where we're likely to have total residents on one side of the street, not the other. And this could continue to happen. And before you know it, we won't look anything like the town with the Main Street that we have now. And I just thought it would be a good idea to try to talk about this and see what people think. And we're not making any decisions. We're not voting on anything. It's just to get an idea of what the rest of council would like to see in that area. Another thing I do want to mention is it is true that retail is changing because of Amazon, because of lots of things. And we do have a lot of businesses such as real estate offices and insurance offices and that sort of thing. But people do like to shop and they like to come to Beach Haven because it's a walkable town and they can pretty much get everything they need. It would be nice if we could maintain that feel, but I'd like to know what other people think. This is just my point of view.
Nancy, what are you suggesting that you want to
Anybody have any-
require? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to require that I mean, this is the key, any place that has been retail between Pearl Street and 12th Street needs to have a retail component to it. And by retail, I don't mean just like a restaurant or a store, but also a business like an insurance company or real estate company or a consulting business of some sort would also count. But you know, that's what I'm trying to do is keep a Main Street. Now there are places like if you go between say AJ's and Pearl Street Market, I mean, there's some residences down there that have always been residences. We can't make them. I don't think you can make them decide, you know, if somebody buys it, they have to install a retail place where there's never been a retail place. But where there has been retail, I'd like to keep it as some sort of retail.
Shouldn't this be in the master plan?
I don't think the master, we do establish that as the COA overlay area, but we really haven't come up with anything quite that, I guess, that strong. We did pass an ordinance that said any personal, after the Patrick Muller debacle, we passed an ordinance saying that any residents have to face Bay Avenue, so they don't make it look like this isn't a walkable area. And that's as close as we've gotten to try to keep this Main Street flavor. And maybe we can, maybe some of you have better ideas, but it's just the idea of trying to keep some kind of Main Street. Because I really do think we'll lose it. And maybe that doesn't matter anymore. Maybe people don't care about that sort of thing. I do personally like to shop in town, and I pretty much buy and use the local businesses. I hate to have to run to Manahawkin to buy stuff. I'm so happy we have Handsback, which is on the cusp of Beach Haven, which is nice. But I'd hate to see us just lose it altogether. And that could happen. We've already lost a lot of spots. And now with the Brennan property, looking to do residents there.
The master plan doesn't really give us any real solid requirement to maintain a first floor commercial or a commercial component.
Does anybody know what they're going to do with the diner?
Yes, a little bit.
Any member of council?
I just heard stuff secondhand. So from realtors, I've heard stuff. They're going to keep it as a business. The people that bought it are the Sensations people. And what I heard is they want to put they want to keep the diner as a diner, and they want to take that other part and put in one of those big candy stores like they have down in Ship Bottom.
I heard that too.
Is there any other member of council that supports this idea that Nancy has? Because the support that you give is going to let us know if we should pursue this and start to look at methods that we could accomplish this.
Go ahead, Dan. I'm looking at something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a worthwhile look, to figure this out, because, the real estate in town is, like Nancy said, you're probably going to have that entire block is going to be residential. I think that COA overlay was trying to encourage maintaining, residents over, but maybe it's not far enough. I don't know. So, it would be a question from how do we word it? That's fair and equitable for the people who already live there. So that own the property as is, without, kind of knocking them off any potential sales. How do we keep it fair? But I think
make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely worth exploring, because it is a nice feature of Beach Haven. We have a nice town, and we're doing all this work trying to put in brick sidewalks and the lighting, and trying to make it feel and look.
It really does have a lot of charm in this downtown of Beach Haven. And maybe it's wishful thinking on my part. I go back to my childhood, and I loved to be able to walk down as a little kid and shop, and I get a dime. I could buy all kinds of stuff for a dime in those days. So it could conceivably, you could lose it all.
Well, I would say that, I agree with you, Nance and Dan, that, it's definitely something that we should look into. I guess my concern is we've had some pushback from groups, various, on, somebody might want to buy AJ's, which, as far as I know, has always been a residence and they used to sell hoagies there at one time.
Yeah, great cheeseburger.
Yeah. So, I just want to make sure that we're going to not have to go through massive public unrest. So, yeah, let's look into it.
I'm losing you, Chuck. I can't hear.
Oh, that's because I probably don't have that much to say. How's that?
All right,
Did-
Tom or Jamie?
I think we should look into it. I think it's something that I like the quaintness of it. I like the shopping in town. I think it's another feature for Beach Haven. And I know we publicize it quite a bit. And I think it's something that we should definitely look into.
I also,
Jamie?
yeah, I agree. Nancy and I have spoken about this before, so I agree with her. I think that one of Beach Haven's attributes is the business district as being a business district and not a single family area. Initially, you know, in the master plan, I'm looking at it right now, the recommendations for the business district, and it is to encourage like a multi-use building where you have stores on the bottom and a resident on top. And I'd like to kind of take a look at that more and encourage that rather than single family homes. I mean, I know that, you know, when we saw that Dom's went for sale, you know, the rumor mill says that they're building houses there. And that just, you know, crushes people because that's people make memories at these businesses with their families, multi-generations. So I think it's important that we protect the business district before we lose it. Are people going to disagree? Yes, they will. And, you know, protecting investments and this and that, I get it. But when we're thinking as Beach Haven as a whole and keeping it the way that it is, and it is very culturally unique, and I've mentioned that hundreds of times, it's time to protect the business district and keep it businesses. So yeah, I definitely think that we need to look into what we can do. And I see Bruce is probably like, oh boy, here we so we're gonna need you on this and see, you know, what we can do. And I'm going to definitely do some research. I'm sure that, you know, all small shore towns have done something to protect their business district, you know, especially in Cape Cod and up north. I mean, they still keep that quaint town feel by keeping that business district and definitely not overdeveloping it.
And
Yeah,
it's nice to have Obama's move in next door. In the Cape. That's where they moved.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know. But I know in Monmouth County, Jamie, of Manasquan has a main street. Spring Lake has a pretty vibrant main street. Seabright does.
So I guess the ultimate question is, how do we protect our main street from being totally developed into single family homes with not necessarily upsetting the people that maybe want to sell their businesses to get more money to build single family homes? So I guess that's the dilemma that we're going to have to face and come up with some type of compromise or see what other towns are doing to protect it.
We're going to put our heads together with our attorneys, and we'll come back to council with some options and some pros and cons for both options. And then we'll go from there.
That's great.
Anything else to add on this topic? Right, that's all we have for general discussion. We'll open the floor for public comment. If you're new to Zoom, to raise your hand on the bottom tab or the top of your screen, there is a more option with 3 dots. You can choose that and choose to raise an electronic hand, and then I can call on you. Colleen Lambert, state your name and address for the record.
I see Colleen Lambert's hand.
Yeah, I'm calling on her right now. Colleen, if you can unmute yourself.
There we go.
Hey, okay.
I know, sorry about that. I have to do the big computer and the iPad. Question about the beach badges.
State your name and address for the record first.
Colleen Lambert, 115 8th Street.
Thank you.
Okay, the senior beach badges. So that's going to start all over this year. The other beach badges, I assume, would not be good anymore. We're going to start with a new senior program.
No, if you have one, it's still good.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate that. That was it.
Good. Thank you, Colleen.
Anybody else? I don't see any hands.
Can't raise an electronic hand. You can also *6 if you're on a regular telephone and identify yourself, or you can raise your hand in the screen like this. Seeing none?
Seeing none, I will close the floor to the public. And we now have final remarks from council. Do you want to start, Tom?
Yeah, I just want to say one quick thing. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Halloween, safe Halloween. And let's hope everything goes very positive. And I know Election Day is coming on, so let's hope we don't have any problems there. But I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Halloween and a safe Halloween. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. Jamie?
Wow, this is a short meeting. Just wanted to piggyback on Tom's comments. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I need to finish my costume. On that note, the borough did post some Halloween guidelines if you are curious or want to, if there's any parents out there that need to refer to those. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Dan?
Yeah, a happy Halloween, safe Halloween. I have to look at those guidelines because I have no idea what we're doing yet. And I want to wish all the candidates that are running the best of luck. And we'll see when the dust settles, who will be replacing our 2 open seats. I miss you guys. That's it.
3 open seats.
3. Apologies.
All right. Is that it? Chuck?
Everyone, just hope you have a safe Halloween. Don't forget to make sure that the kids have flashlights when they're walking around town. And please vote. Vote for the candidates of your choice, but vote.
Is that it, Chuck?
Yes, it is.
All right, no, all I'll say is yes, please vote. It's a privilege. And the bad thing about Halloween is it's followed by losing daylight savings time. So it's going to get dark earlier, but soon it will be the equinox again and the days will be getting lighter. So we have a lot to look forward to. Thank you all for attending the meeting. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? Okay.
In
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Bye.